Welcome back to the show, everybody. Great to be here with you on this Mindset and Motivation Monday. Hopefully, we've got a great topic for you in how to build a strong character that people will respect and really want to be around you. People love being around others that have that strong, that assuredness of them, that confidence that really exudes from them. Well, that exudes from them by them doing very specific things, even if they're not even conscious about it. Well, here's the nice thing. When you know what these 7 things are, you can start to purposely add them to your life. And when you do, you begin to embody them. As you embody them, they become more natural. And as you start to use them and do them more in your own life, you will start to become a person who is greatly respected, that has that strong character that people are attracted to. So I want to take you through these 7 different mantras that you can literally recite to yourself or begin to institute in your own life that will get you that type of respect that honestly you deserve. If you're a person of service, if you're a person of good, strong morals and character, you want and you deserve that respect. So let's start to now put that into action. And I don't mean that you're then going to be able to command other people around you. It's not about that, but it is that when you speak, people listen, that they want to hear what you have to say because you know that it's coming from a good place and a place that people respect. So let's dive in. Number 1 is this: starting each day with courage. What does that mean? It means that every single person, when they wake up every day, they can wake up with anxiety, they can wake up with worry, they can wake up feeling behind on the day, or they can wake up saying, yes, I have a lot of challenges in front of me. There's a lot of things that I may not necessarily want to do today, but I can do it. I am someone that's going to look at this day as something that is to be triumphed over, something that is to be conquered, or it's something that just say, I'm going to be able to roll with the punches today. I'm going to be able to make it happen no matter what comes my way, but simply approaching the day with courage. It doesn't mean that the day is going to be easy, and it doesn't mean that you won't have challenges, but you say to yourself, listen, I'm ready. I'm going to be able to conquer anything that comes my way. Now, will you or won't you? Well, that remains to be seen. But the truth is that we don't always win all the time in every single day of our life, but we can approach it with courage and understanding that even if we don't get a win that day, we're going to learn from it. We're going to grow from it, and we'll be able to handle that situation better the next time it comes up. So that's part number 1. We're not going to be perfect at all of these, trust me, and each and every day is going to look like a different day, but the goal is that we get that much better as we move through our life, as long as we keep these mantras in the back of our mind. Number 2 is this: finish what you start. So, these are things that we want to embody. Are you someone who finishes what you start? So when your coworkers look at you, when your family and kids look at you, your spouse looks at you, your partner, whoever it might be, are you someone who finishes what you start? I think this is something that you don't need to tell people. They see it on you, right? And you say, oh, I'm going to sign up for the gym, and I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week, and I'm going to maybe do this class on Monday, and then I'm going to do a spin class on Wednesday, and I'm going to hit the weights on Friday, like all the different things. Okay, finish what you start. Now, the other part I'll say to you is this: as on previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays, I also say is don't start what you're not going to finish. It's equally important. So, and this is going to come up a little bit later in one of these 7, but don't commit to things that you can't commit to. Finish what you start. Now, once you've finished, you can say, this is no longer for me. And you can change your mind. There's not an issue with that, but take your time making that decision. But once you commit, finish what you start. That's number 2. That builds strong character. People recognize, even if it gets tough, this person is going to finish what they start. Number 3, take pride in your work. It represents you. So even if you have a job that you don't love, even if you are doing tasks that are thankless, you want to take pride in your work, whatever that is. And that is because it is a symbol of who you are. So I tell my daughters this, like, oh, it doesn't count as a grade, they'll say to me, or I don't even know if this is due this day. I say, understood, right? But write neatly, like erase your work that needs to be erased properly. Take pride in your work. And that is because what you hand into your teachers, obviously they know you from class or talking to you, but what they know from you is what they see. Are you raising your hand? Are you asking questions? Are you being thoughtful? Are you being respectful? And then what does the work look like when you hand in? Does it look sloppy? Is it hard for them to read? Myself, having, worked for a bit and worked with the public, if it's difficult for me to read something, it's going to make my job more challenging. Well, a teacher, they don't want their job to be more challenging, right? So whatever it is that you do, ask questions, right? See how you can provide a better service and take pride in your work. That's the bottom line. That's number 3. Number 4 is this: just do what has to be done, whether you like it or not. So I love this one. So sometimes, at the end of the day, all right, I gotta do the laundry. I've got to wash the dishes. I've got to get things ready for the kids tomorrow. I've got a meeting, so I got to lay out my, work clothes or whatever it is. I might have to iron my clothes, just the daily tasks of life. And you don't want to necessarily do any of them. And it could be work, it could be exercise, it could be whatever. There are days where I'm I don't really want to do 8 sprints today. I don't want to do a 1 mile warm up, 8 sprints, a mile cool down, whatever it might be. It's just do what you set out to do and what has to be done, even if you don't necessarily like it. This is a tough one, but here's why. That at the end of getting the laundry done, getting the dishes done, doing all of those things, you completed it, you did it, and you're going to be a whole lot happier after it's done. And the reason is this: if it's not done, then it piles up and makes life more difficult, because then you have twice as much laundry to do, twice as many dishes to do. Then you need to rush the next morning, getting all the kids' stuff or your own stuff ready, right? And then you're stressed. So that affects you. So either way, it's going to affect you, right? If I don't do my workout of the day, well, what happens? It makes the subsequent workouts that much more difficult. And I know that I also let myself down. So do what needs to be done. This is why we need to stick to a schedule, get our tasks in, and do it not robotically. But there are times when we just don't want to do it, but it needs to get done. And once we do it, we'll always be happier that we did. There's not a workout that I've ever done that it might not have been my best. And I'll say that, that wasn't my best, but I did it. I accomplished it for a day so much better than not having done it at all, right? If there's a day I'm just I don't know if I can record today, I'm not in the mood, whatever it might be. Okay, so then I have what? An hour podcast the next day, right? And again, I love what I do, but sometimes there's just things that pop up, whatever it is, okay, do I really want to do it at the end of the day? At the end of me doing it, I've never once said, I wish I didn't record that show. No, it's not about that. So it's any part of your life. Do what needs to be done, whether you want to or not. Again, we're saying that this is for good, right? That is for good, of course. All right, number 5 is this: talk less and do more. This is internal and external. My wife reminds me over and over, I'm an external processor. I will talk through all the things that I need to do. And for someone that's an internal processor, it's a lot, right? For sure. I can definitely be, everybody has, I think, their own introvert and extrovert based properties, but for sure I'm a talker. There's no doubt about that. But at times you just need to talk less and do more, meaning that from this perspective externally, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You're talking about all the things that you're going to do. And I hear that, everybody hears it in all sorts of different places. You hear it family, you hear it in friends, you hear it in community, you hear it in your work, all the talk. Okay, but it kind of goes back to, do you do it, right? Do you finish what you start? And so that's the do more. So for myself as well as that, I say, okay, yeah, these are the things that I want to do. But at the end of the day, what matters is what's done. So for me, for myself, internally processing, I'm going to talk a little bit less. I talk for a living. I very much enjoy conversations and talking. But when it comes to here's brass tacks, this is what needs to get done, the time for talking is done. So that's the internal part. So let me just share with you, kind of step back to number 4, do what needs to get done, whether you want to or not. I could complain all day, for a half hour. And again, I chat about this with my daughters. You just complained for 30 minutes about not wanting to do your homework, do a project, whatever. In that 30 minutes, we could have been done. We could have been done. You have 10 math problems. That's 3 minutes per problem. Over that time, I would sit with you and we would get it done, but you've procrastinated and you've talked about how much you don't want to do it for 30 minutes. Do you know if you just sat down the minute you said you don't want to do it, and started to work, we would already be done right now in this moment. And that goes for all of us. I mean, we're adults, but we're basically big kids. We got the same kind of mindset. So we have to remember is like, all right, whatever you don't want to do, just start to do it. And you give yourself the 2-minute rule out, or the 5-minute rule is what I use, not the 2-minute rule. We teach this in IHP Mastery, but if within 5 minutes you want to stop, then stop. But start for 5 minutes, give it a full effort, not a little effort, a full effort. And then if you need to break after 5, break after 5. That includes exercise or laundry or dishes or whatever it is. I think you'll find that once you get started, getting started builds momentum. And once you build that momentum, it just keeps propelling you forward, right? So just get started. Use that 5-minute rule. Talk less, do more, just get active. All right, number 6 is this. Know where to draw the line. I love this one. It can be taken in a million different ways. And by the way, I take inspiration from everywhere. So for the very first time, took my family out west, like real west. We went to Montana last summer, the beginning of the summer before kind of like the main season hits. And, it's still cold weather. It's still low 50s, sometimes even high 40s, right? In the beginning of June or so. And so went out there to Montana and really we did, it was a nice resort. I'm not gonna say that it's not, but it was not like, there was no frills. Like it wasn't that type of thing. And because I like being in nature, I like taking my girls into nature. And so we are immersed in the woods essentially. And there's all of these kind of the cowboy lore that you learn. And so these principles are basically called like cowboy-based principles. It's like, you are the salt of the earth type of individual. And it was an amazing experience. We learned a lot of those things. Like, you have to put in the work. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. Like every day is going back to one of my favorite books, Chopping Wood, right? And Carrying Water. Well, in general though, you need to know where to draw the line, right? And like a cowboy knows where to draw the line. And so what does that mean? So with yourself and with others, you're there to be of service, right, for others. There's no doubt about it. That includes family, friends, etc. But at times, you need to draw the line. Like you need to say, listen, I want to do more, but I also have to take care of myself. I also need to take care of all these other things. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've been told forever that it's not okay. Like you shouldn't carve any time out for yourself. That's not true at all. That leads to a very miserable, unhappy life, right? So you need a little bit of you time. There's nothing wrong with that. Like you need to go after what it is that you want out of this life. And once you get even just a little bit, I say that all the time, 30 minutes to start my day. That's like my me time. Then 30 minutes around lunchtime. And then 30 minutes at the end of the day is my workout. Okay. So I basically have these 30-minute blocks, but then that's it. Like that is it. But I don't feel that's fine. Like I'm good with that because now I got my me time. I got in what I needed to get done. And then I'm very happy then to try to be of service as much as I can to my work. And again, it's work. I love my work, all of that, but my family, to all of the things. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to have some balance. So you need to know where to draw the line, but also with yourself, like draw the line. You need to do what needs to be done, right? So like, hey, you've let the laundry slide. You've let the dishes slide. You've let your work slide. You've let all the communication, phone calls to family, friends. You've let that slide for some time. Now you need to get back on it. Draw the line for yourself as well. All right. The last one is this. And I love this one. When you make a promise, you keep it, no matter what. So there are very few circumstances where you should ever break your promise. But it goes back to then finishing what you start. So what does that mean? Well, don't start what you don't plan to finish. So don't make promises to others that you can't keep, because that breaks your character. So if I make I'm slow to make promises, but if I make that promise, you have my full commitment. It's almost like when we bring on new people in the company, I'm slow to bring on a new individual. And like we might know that we need help here, we need help, but I want to find the right person. And once I make that commitment, we're all in with you. Like that's it. We want to make sure that if you have challenges, if you have struggles, that we can help in whatever way, shape, or form. We made a promise to you. You're making a promise to us. Let's keep our promises. And that goes in general to other people around you, right? You make a promise, you keep your promise to family, to friends. Just because someone will forgive you, like, oh, no big deal. This person won't mind if I break my promise. Try not to be that person. And then, of course, always with yourself. If you make a promise to yourself, if you make a promise and a commitment to improve your health, to improve your relationships, to improve your body, to improve your spirituality, to improve your career, your finances, whatever it might be, keep the promise. And the reason is that you live with you every day. You know if you've kept your promises to yourself or not. So keep your promises first and foremost to yourself. When you keep them for yourself, trust me, it'll exude from you and you can't help but to keep it for others. So there are many more out there. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What are some other traits, some other actions, some other mantras that you think would help to build a strong character that people will respect and, of course, want to be more around you? So hopefully this was helpful. Fun little show. Love to be able to share what I've learned in my own life and pass it along to you. And then, of course, add your comments below so we can learn from you as well. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.